If you've ever run out of content ideas or are looking to create content ideas so that you can pre-schedule content and sort of relax knowing that your content is planned out, you're probably looking for ways to come up with lots of content ideas. So if that's you, stick around. I've got 4 steps to get you 50 content ideas, and it only takes a few minutes, and I'm going to walk you through it. Hey, my name is Kayla, and I help content creators create better content for better results. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to get my latest uploads every week. So the first step in this process is usually coming up with your main topics. So often in content creation and marketing, these are sometimes called content buckets, but really I just want you to come up with 3 main ideas, 3 main topics. These could be things that are trending now in your industry, things that you really love to talk about, or things that are your main content topics. So for me, right now, things that are trending are video related content. So that might be TikTok videos, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. Those are very basic content categories that allows me to sort of start from and create content about. So now I have 3 main topics to start with. For you, if you're a life coach, it could be stress management and personal development and maybe self-care. Those could be 3 content topics to start with, and that'll get us going. Now, I should mention, as you're doing this, what you'll want to do is either pull up a Google document, a Excel sheet, or a Trello board of some kind, someplace to organize your content ideas. So as a tip, if you're not sure what your 3 topics are to start with, just choose something within your niche and go to Google, go to the search on TikTok or the search bar in Pinterest and type in your niche or keyword. So you might type in life coaching and see what kinds of content comes up. Or you might start with a subtopic of life coaching, and that could be, self-care. And you just type in self-care at the top of the search bar and see what kind of results come up. This will give you a place to start and see what's trending and is at the top of search results for your main topic and some of your main topics. Okay, so the second step is to take your 3 main topics and expand each one of those into 10 additional ideas. And I usually like to start with how-tos because that seems, for me, a simple place to start. So I might start with, if my topic was about Instagram Reels, for instance, I might start with all of the how-to type of content related to Instagram Reels, and then start brainstorming maybe a list of resources or tutorials I might want to do, and come up with at least 10 for each of my top 3 topics. So if you're a life coach and you were thinking about your main topic being stress management, you're going to end up with a list of 10 different things that you could talk about related to stress management, just related to stress management. And so this ends up being a list of tutorials, a list of how-tos, a list of resources and things like that. Just a place to start. So at this point, if you repeat that process and come up with 10 basic ideas under your 3 topics, you're going to easily have 3 content ideas. Now, if you're struggling to come up with 10 ideas, you're going to probably want to go back to the search results, maybe back to Pinterest or go to YouTube and type in your main topic and see what content ideas are coming up. Now, be careful. You don't want to copy someone else's content, but do pay attention to the topics and the questions that the content is addressing. The ones that you're seeing at the top of the search results are things that people are most likely searching for, and that's why they're showing up there. And you can usually click further on to the search results and see even more, but we want to be careful about diving into other people's content because we don't want it to influence how we create our content. We just want to help we want it to help us come up with more content ideas, and so it helps to go and look at what search results are coming up. So if you can't come up with 10 ideas under your top 3 topics, definitely go back to that search bar and look some more. And it also helps to ask some questions, like what are some common questions that my audience asks me about this topic? Or what are some questions that I had when I was struggling with learning this topic? Now, moving on to step number 3, still having our list of 30 content ideas from our 3 main topics, we want to go to those 30 ideas, and now we want to consider what common myths, common objections, or common or not so common secrets do we know about these particular topics. So if we dive deeper into our life coaching example, and let's say you're creating a list of content ideas about stress management, and maybe you discovered that single tasking is a tip or a strategy or a technique that is often talked about in trending content around this topic, that you want to create some content. You have some opinions about this, but you know, because you know your audience so well, you know that there are some common misconceptions about what it means to be a single tasking person, someone who tackles a single task in order to be less stressed out. And so what are some of the common objections that you get when you work with your clients when it comes to this particular topic? That could be a content idea. So what I want you to do is take your 30 content ideas and come up with at least 10 more content ideas that specifically address objections, myths, or maybe some secrets that you have about a particular topic. So if I were going to, for me, talk about Instagram Reels and creating Instagram Reels for introverts, because I happen to identify more with that type of content creator, and I think my audience is a little more introverted as well, I think that sharing some of my secrets to how to create Instagram Reels, even as an introvert, would be helpful to my audience. So I'll create a piece of content around that topic. And that's what your next step is to take these 30 content ideas and expand into 10 additional content ideas around myths, objections, and secrets. And that will get you to 40 content ideas. Now, step number 4 in this content idea process is to come up with a list of 10 personal stories or client stories related to some of the topics in your list of content ideas. So you'll go back to that main, first 30, and you'll think about a personal experience that you could share with your audience that relates to some of those ideas. So for instance, if one of your content sort of buckets or your main content ideas was about personal development, and maybe you had some content ideas about goal setting and how to help your audience set goals and set better goals and habits, maybe you could share your personal story about how you created habits in your life or how you accomplished some of the goals that you accomplished in your life. Those kinds of relatable human stories are things that your audience really wants to hear. It helps create a personal connection with you, and it's also very relatable. And so if they can see the success that you have, or the success that one of your clients has, or one of your students, or one of your customers, those stories become really powerful additions to our content strategy. So you don't have to add a ton, but I suggest adding 10 additional pieces of content related to some of your other content ideas that are strictly, stories about your success with a particular thing, or maybe a failure or something along those lines. So you can use yourself in these examples, or you could use a customer or a client or a friend or a family member, just stories that relate to the content. So at this point, you have 50 content ideas, and you're ready to move on to creating, Canva templates to go with your content ideas, or maybe start recording videos, or whatever it is, whatever your content process is. Once you're done with those 50 content ideas, you will probably come back to this process and scratch your head and think, where do I start? What should my 3 top topics be? Because I've already tackled these 3 topics. How could I further expand upon these topics? Well, what I would do is I would go through your last 50 content ideas and I would see which ones performed well within your social media. I would take a look at which pieces of content people tend to like more, share more, comment on more, and I would look at questions people are asking, or I would think about expanding and making that topic your main topic and then going through this 4-step process with that main topic. So let's say this round, it was stress management that you created a bunch of content about, and you discovered that one of your pieces of content blew up, it went viral, and you're going to just make that topic now your main topic, and you're going to create a bunch of content ideas off of that main topic, right? So that's how I would repeat this process and use the data from your social media analytics, your Google analytics to tell you which content might need to be expanded on and what might be a really good topic for your community, your niche, and supply you with some questions probably in the comments section that are coming up from your audience. So those will help you expand more into additional content ideas. Now that you have a bunch of content ideas and you're probably ready to move on to the next step, you can grab a lot of free resources off of Ivory Mix, stock photos, Canva templates, all for you free. And you can also consider joining the Ivory Mix content membership, where we have thousands upon thousands of content ideas, captions, Canva templates, and stock photos ready for you to plug and play your content ideas into and start making content really, really fast.